Meta launched a new text-based social media called Threads. Hackers steal data of 45,000 New York City students in the MOVEit breach. Microsoft wants to move Windows fully to the cloud, and Google states that it is going to suck up all your data to train its AI. All that and more next on The Computer Doctor Show.
You're listening to The Computer Doctor Show, your source for technology subjects affecting your business and personal life during this new normal. Your host is an award-winning office technician and IT specialist, author, tutor, ethical hacker, and recent winner on localbest.com as the best computer shop in Tucson. Broadcasting live, here's Aaron Moss.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Computer Doctor Show, your headquarters for up-to-date scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. This is episode 138. I'm Aaron Moss, your host. Thanks for tuning in with us every Saturday at 2 p.m. We post all of our shows and bonus content on ComputerDoctorShow.com and the Computer Doctor Show YouTube channel. We'd love to hear from you, but not today because we're pre-recording this show. We're going to have to keep our heads on that. It is Saturday, but it's a nice Saturday indeed.
Yeah,
we have.
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody.
Let's pretend.
Yes. Chris is joining us, as you've heard, from the Cassidy Unscrewed Theater. Thank you again for being here with us today.
Hi. Happy Saturday, everyone.
Yes, happy Saturday. And also a reminder to please support our sponsors. So if you're looking for top quality auto repairs that exceed your expectations, look no further than Perfection Auto Works. The team of expert technicians at Perfection Auto Works will get the job done right the first time with a level of workmanship that ensures perfection in every job. From routine maintenance to major repairs, Perfection Auto Works aims to surpass their customers' expectations. So visit Perfection Auto Works and experience why they are the trusted name in auto repair. Call 323-8650 or visit perfectionautoworks.com. Perfection Auto Works, where perfection is not just a word, it is their commitment. And remember, if you like the Computer Doctor Show, please support our sponsors. So here's some technology news that broke this week. Meta,
Yes.
formerly Facebook.
Yes.
So we're familiar with the new lingo there.
Right.
So it is now called Meta. They have released a new text-based social media called Threads.
Threads. Is that
Threads.
Threads with a Z?
Threads with an S.
Oh, okay.
The icon kind of looks like an ampersand-ish
Like a Google or a squiggle.
It's a squiggle.
Like a squiggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like a loose thread.
a loose thread. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe they have loose privacy.
There's plenty of loose threads at Meta, believe me.
loose or loose buttons at least. So Threads offers a new separate space for real-time updates and public conversation. Mimicking Twitter. Mimicking Twitter.
Oh, is that what we're saying?
Right.
All right.
There's a little bit of backstory that Zuckerberg and Musk, they don't like each other. They were friends at some point in the past, but something did happen that caused their friendship, and now they're just horns.
bitter rivals.
Bitter rivals.
And it's going to end up in a cage match. That's what I heard.
It could be, or it can just be two of the top social medias just going at each other.
Two billionaire titans.
Exactly. So it's easy actually to get started with Threads. You simply have to use your Instagram account to log in. Your Instagram username and verification will carry over, as well as all your followers and your biography.
Oh, so it just switches right over.
It just switches right over.
Okay.
So there's if you're already an Instagram user, you can very, very easily be a Threads user in just the time that it takes to download and just answer a few questions.
Simple as that.
And you're in.
I'm sure that some people are already taking advantage of that.
And if there are people that you're trying to avoid, if they found you on Instagram, they're going to find you on Threads.
No.
So
no hiding.
Yeah, you can't hide from these people. So you can customize it specifically for Threads, but they had about 30 million downloads in the first 12 hours.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what the number is now, but hey.
A lot.
Those are some awesome numbers. People are calling it the mix between Instagram and Twitter, and influencers are figuring out how to use the new service for their advantage. They're pushing the buttons, trying to figure out where the limitations are.
Of course.
That kind of thing.
With any new platform, new technology, that is going to happen.
They're trying to figure all that out. So we'll see what they find out. Also, hackers steal data from 45,000 New York City students in the MOVEit software breach. So the MOVEit is a brand of it's a it's a cloud service
Okay.
that schools use, that businesses use, and just so happens the New York City Department of Education uses it. And apparently the cloud service got hacked, and a lot of students' information were part of that hack. And you may be wondering, well, underage kids, it doesn't matter if their information is hacked, you would think.
You would. No,
But-
there could be an issue with that.
I'll tell you, here's where the issue is. If there are hackers that have children's information, they have the date of birth, all they have to do is just wait for a convenient time when they turn of age, and then they start using that information to open up bank accounts,
Right.
Credit accounts, mortgages, car loans, things like that. So even protecting kids' information is important. So although this breach, I feel sorry for the kids whose information have been breached. But if you do know anyone, or if you have kids that are in the New York City school system, make sure that they start checking their credit history the moment they turn 18, or even 17 at that matter.
I guess so.
Yeah. So. Which is good advice for us to be doing all the time anyway. Even us adults, we should be checking our credit history at least once a year. And 4 times a year would be even better, but at least once a year.
That's a good tip.
Yeah. So the Clop ransomware gang has claimed responsibility for this particular breach.
Wait, did you say the Clop ransomware gang?
They have names.
Well, it sounds like the Wild West. It sounds like they're outlaws and they're driving into Silver City.
That's exactly what they are.
Yeah.
They're bullies. They're gangs.
They're outlaws.
They are outlaws. They're digital outlaws. They are among us. They can be walking right by you in the supermarket. You don't know who they are.
No, they're anonymous. Not anonymous, the group,
Right.
but they have anonymity.
They pride themselves on their anonymity so much that they can even claim that they did it, and there's still nothing that anybody can do about it because
Can't prove it.
They can't identify them.
Mm.
So they are masters of disguise. They are masters of cloaking and phantomism and all that stuff. So, and there's about 300 cyber gangs that are out there. They operate in many countries. Some of the more popular ones are in Russia and here in the United States. There are some Chinese ones that have grown to be very popular. Anytime you hear of any of these big breaches in the news, a lot of times they are claimed by one of these gangs, and they all have names. So to keep track of the names and which ones have the best breaches, they're almost kind of like in like a turf war kind of thing, like who can breach the most and who can has the coolest software to do this stuff.
It reminds me of those cyber movies from the 90s, like
Yep.
Hackers and
Yep.
Sneakers.
There it is. Also, Microsoft wants to move Windows 11 fully to the cloud, and a lot of people don't really understand what that means. So,
Well, you know what it means? It means that the Clop ransomware gang is really happy about that.
they want more people to be in the cloud, but that's kind of like where the future is going. Everything's going to be in the cloud. It's going to get to a point where having your own desktop computer is actually going to be the worst possible thing that you can be doing for security. That if you're not in the cloud, then you're just opening yourself up to more stuff.
Why is that?
Only because if you are the administrator for your own system, you would have to make sure that everything secure-wise is happening with your computer. And that is not the normal MO of how people operate.
Okay.
People want to just get what they need to be done. They don't want to spend 10 minutes working on security.
Okay.
They just want to open up their apps, do what they got to do, okay, and then turn the
And be
computer
done.
on. Because people don't want to do that. But if you have a system that's running on the cloud, then you have a professional team that's working on your security in the background all the time. And that is what Windows is trying to do. They're trying to move fully to the cloud. Now, Microsoft discusses building on the Windows 365 platform. mix up Windows 365 with Office 365.
Okay.
Office 365, lots of people are aware of. That's where you get your cloud Word,
Yep.
your cloud
Excel.
Excel, Publisher, all those things. PowerPoint, and also OneDrive, Microsoft OneDrive, the
Right.
online storage service. So that is just an application that you open up in your browser and you go to Office 365. What Windows 365 is, you open up your computer, it goes online, and now you are looking at a desktop screen that actually exists in the cloud.
So it's
not
the
on your
operating
computer.
system itself is in the cloud?
Correct.
Okay.
So you're really just turning on your computer and you're logging into what's called a remote desktop protocol, or RDP. RDPs kind of date back several years, but now Windows 365 has been around for about 2 years. We actually announced it when Windows 365 was kind of started back in episode 53 of the Computer Doctor Show.
Okay.
And we kind of went over what that actually means and what the securities are in it. But we're going to continue to cover these things about what Windows is doing. And they're trying to make Windows 11 more into the cloud.
Okay.
Almost morphing the entire Windows 11 experience into the cloud and not on a standalone machine.
So it sounds like the next operating system is going to be in the cloud.
Yes, in the
Okay.
clouds. It's going to be out there. It's not something that you hold and something that you have. It's just something that's just out there and that you subscribe to.
Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's time to take our midway commercial break with a word from our sponsors. Up next, Science and Tech History, and this week's Top 5, and Google is using your data to train its AI, what that means. This is the Computer Doctor Show. We'll be right back.
For New York, which brings up the base for the Yankees. Runners on second and third, nobody out. The arm goes up in the motion. Here's the next pitch. There looks like a long punch into the bleachers for a home run. It is. The Babe hit it over the fence from the bleachers.
If you've been striking out at Quirky Lube, you're killing me, Smalls. Maybe it's time for an MVP mechanic who can hit automotive diagnostic problems out of the ballpark. Brakes, tires, electrical, air conditioning. We call them as we see them.
Strike! You're out of here! You blind?
Call Perfection Auto Works today, 323-8650, 1046 North Beverly, and perfectionautoworks.com. And it's out of there!
Computer Doctor of Tucson is the best choice in desktop support in Tucson. They fix error messages, power and boot problems, install of software and hardware, and much more. You can come to them, or they can come to you, or even have a remote support session so they can fix your issues over the phone quickly. Give them a call at 261-5508, 261-5508. Visit them on the web at computerdoctortucson.com. Computer Doctor of Tucson, because technology is great when it works.
Welcome back to the Computer Doctor Show, your source for scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. I'm Aaron Moss, your host, along with Chris, co-hosting today from the Unscrewed Theater. And before we get into the next segment, Chris, tell us about the Unscrewed Theater.
All right. Well, we have a lot going on at the Unscrewed Theater every Friday and Saturday. We're located at Speedway and Swan in Midway Business Park. And tonight is actually a very special night. It is Saturday. So we have 3 shows. We have a student showcase at 6 p.m. That's free admission. And then we have a family-friendly improv show, just like Whose Line Is It Anyway? And we have a special guest at this show, our family-friendly 7:30. In addition to our uncensored 9 p.m. show, we're being joined by a group from the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in Mesa. So you get 2 improv groups for the price of 1. And if you're over the age of 18 and want to stay for both, it's $10.
Okay, very nice. And Neighborhood Comedy Theater, did they used to be called National Comedy Theater?
That is correct.
My wife and I, we went there when we were dating, actually.
Oh, look at that. So
that's a great place.
they
They're
hold a
very, very
special
fun.
place in your heart.
Very, very funny place. Very, very funny cast members over there at the NCT Theater.
They are. We're looking forward to welcoming them to Unscrewed Theater.
Okay, very good. We're going to take a look back at science and tech history here. Chris, you have the list. What's the first one we got there?
I do. So let's see. On July 4th of July, 11 years ago, scientists announced the observation of the Higgs boson, the elusive particle that gives almost all other particles their mass and thus lays the foundation for the matter that forms us and everything we see around us in the universe. Oh, no big deal.
Okay, so that doesn't mean that the Higgs boson is 11 years old.
No.
But because it has existed
It's billions of years old.
Since matter, I guess, if that matters.
Yeah. I think it has to matter.
It has to matter.
Yeah.
If it's the basis of matter, but it's very interesting. If you were to Google, and I hope that lots of people do, Google and look at some videos on the Higgs boson and what the particle accelerator over there in Europe is actually doing. It's actually a very fascinating a thing to look at and to see exactly how it works. So I encourage you to do that.
Absolutely.
What else do we have?
Well, we'll go way far back. 61 years ago, on July 12th, 1962, the first ever live television signal was beamed across the Atlantic Ocean. So it was a transatlantic television signal.
Yes.
It ushered in a new era of communications that paved the way for the globally connected world we live in today.
Now, here's the interesting thing. I wrote this little thing. So it was broadcasted on July 12th, 1962. But it was received the day before, on July 11th.
Oh, wow.
Why?
That's quite a lag.
What? It's a negative lag, actually, because
Yeah.
it arrived the day before. Why? Because of the 1 day difference in the two. Yeah. So
Yeah.
It would broadcast in the United States, but
Right.
simultaneously it was the day before. It was July 11th.
Oh, right.
It was July 11th in Britain, but it was July 12th in the United States.
That makes sense. That
anyway.
makes sense.
Anyway, that's
Yeah.
that's a computer doctor joke
So
for all of you guys.
it's like having your foot on a state line, having a foot in each state,
Yeah,
something like that.
Something like that. Sure.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. What else we have?
87 years ago, on July 7th, 1936, Henry Phillips receives patents for a new kind of screw and the new screwdriver that we need to make was needed to make it work. So it's the Phillips head
The
screw.
Phillips head screwdriver, 87 years ago. Prior to that, it was just flathead. It was
Yeah.
flathead everything. Everything was flathead.
Almost as long as the Higgs boson.
Well,
it was just flathead.
It was just flat screwdrivers. Anybody had it. I remember some of my grandfather's old tools didn't have any Phillips screwdrivers in some of these old toolboxes because it just wasn't around. It was only 87 years ago. So I will say this. Phillips screw heads are like the most popular in computer hardware.
Why
Okay.
is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
They just are. But there's a few manufacturers that will use a 5-point called a pentalobe or a 6-point called a sectalobe, probably.
Okay.
Or even a 7-point tip called a sectotobe, I think it's called.
Okay, that's easy for you to say.
But I'm only basing that on that the 5-point is called the pentalobe, and that's used by Apple. They try to do that so that people can't open up their products.
Of course.
But of course, people have made the driver for it. You can still get the driver.
They
so
figured it out. They figured it out in metal shop class.
They haven't kept people out of it. Okay, and what's that last one?
Finally, 29 years ago, July 5th, 1994, a little website was founded. A little website sold books.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Amazon.
It's called Amazon.
Amazon was founded, right? Jeff Bezos. And in honor of Amazon, we're going to actually be moving on to the Computer Doctor Show Top 5. And in honor of Amazon, here are the top 5 things that you never knew about Amazon.
Okay.
Starting with number 5. Amazon produces movies and TV shows.
I did know that.
Such as the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and the Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon movie Air was also an Amazon Studios production.
You switched the tables on me. I did not know that. So things that you didn't know. All right, number 4. Amazon has brick and mortar stores. Sort of.
Sort of. Sort of, kind of.
There was this Amazon Go, which was a cashierless convenience store.
Right.
Which is one of those stores that you go into, you walk in, you sign in, or the cameras know who you are by facial recognition or something into the store. You shop around, you take things
the stuff
off, you put them in your pocket, and you walk out.
You just take the thing off the shelf,
put it in your
walk
pocket,
out the door.
Walk out the door. And the camera sees your face, knows who you are, and bills your Amazon account based on the things that you've taken and put in your pocket.
You get charged.
You get charged based on the things that you take out of the pocket. So,
I know that there's some people who do not feel comfortable in a store like that.
Right, but they're starting to disappear, some of these places. So Amazon there was also the Amazon 4-Star, which was a home goods and novelty store in shopping malls, and they're also gradually closing. But Amazon will be opening grocery stores and fashion stores because, of course, they are associated with Whole Foods.
Well, they own Whole Foods.
They own Whole Foods,
yes.
That's right. Also, number 3 here on the top 5, things that you didn't know about Amazon. Amazon is in the cloud storage business.
I did know that.
Amazon Web Services, AWS.
Yes.
So they are actually competitors with Microsoft, Apple, Oracle, Adobe. Any of these, also MoveIt. We were talking about MoveIt also.
Right.
So all these cloud services, they're all in competition with each other. So is Amazon. Amazon is in that space.
There, of course.
The number 2 thing that you probably did not know about Amazon. Amazon owns other companies. We already mentioned Whole Foods, but they also own IMDb, which is a movie directory.
Oh, right.
They also own Audible because they're in the book business. So a lot of the books that you buy on Amazon, you can listen to them being read on the Audible application.
Right.
They are also the owners of Twitch, which is like a YouTube, but for it's like a YouTube for video games and gamers and content creators.
Exactly.
Okay, so they also own Twitch. And the number 1 thing that you probably did not know about Amazon, number 1, Amazon has its own counterfeit police force.
Counterfeit police force?
Counterfeit police force.
What exactly does that mean?
That means that there are people that work for Amazon that actually go out and find fake products that are being sold on their platform.
Oh, I see. Like knockoffs.
Knockoff.
Okay.
It's like the knockoff police.
Right.
They look
it's
for
like Rolex watches with 3 L's.
Yes. Now, so it's very, very important because there are a lot of people that buy car parts on Amazon.
Okay.
So they need to make sure that those things are coming and fitting the specifications and strength specifications for what their people are buying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So that was the top 5. Final report here. Google's privacy policy now explicitly states that it is going to suck up all of your data to train its AI. Google's AI is called...
I don't like the sound of that.
Bard.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's that surprising because we've already relinquished all of our... Anytime you use any Google service...
Yeah, they own it.
That they own it and they can study it. The popular versions of AI, like ChatGPT Live, they live and die based on the amount of data that they harvest, because that's the basis of what machine learning, which is the basis of artificial intelligence, is machine learning. So the more data that they have on how people behave, the more accurate and better their AI service will be.
Yeah, makes sense.
And Google has been collecting that data for way longer than ChatGPT.
True.
So therefore, under those circumstances, their AI machine should be better.
Well,
that much better.
Eventually. I've tried both.
Right. So just so that you are aware, your information will be parts of reports, not necessarily for personal viewing. So there's not someone at Google actually looking at your stuff in particular. Before we wrap up, we just want to thank our sponsor, Perfection Auto Works, again for sponsoring our show. Stop by their location on Speedway Craycroft for your free 26-point inspection. And as always, don't click unverified links in emails or text messages. Use a password manager. Always look at the address bar. Check activity on your bank statements on a regular basis. Enable two-factor authentication. Verify all incoming and outgoing calls. Back up your system to the cloud and listen to the Computer Doctor Show live on Saturdays and posted as podcast on Tuesdays. If you missed any part of this episode, go to computerdoctorshow.com, click episodes, and find episode 138. My name is Aaron Moss, your host and technology expert. Chris was co-hosting today from the Unscrewed Theater. Tom Fairbanks is at the control board. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Computer Doctor Show. If you missed any part of this live broadcast, we post all our episodes online at computerdoctorshow.com. Remember, the world is getting more and more tech, and so should you. To stay current with technology, listen to The Computer Doctor Show each week for local and global tech insights. If you have suggestions for a topic on a future show, send us an email at info@computerdoctorshow.com.